cryptids. We're back. Gonna
Indeed.
continue the story.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna throw myself into this wagon. Hello.
Convenient.
Be sure you are ready.
Yes, I'm sure.
I must leave Siwa.
I want to
There
get
are
my
others to
hidden
whom I must
dagger.
deliver justice,
Mm-hmm.
especially the one known as the Snake. How will you find
I
these
just
men?
still love that
Aya has been tracking them in Alexandria.
when he does get
I must
it.
find her.
She said she would be
Certain things
visiting her
associated
cousin at the
become a
Great
tradition.
Library.
Great library.
And she said if you are coming to tell you one word, Serapis.
Serapis. The god that Greeks and Egyptians share. Of course. I see.
And
Oh, the
why?
subtitles, why are
Do
Greeks
something
and
about
Egyptians
that
both
beard.
lowercase?
Goodbye, my friend.
Don't know.
Also, I like Bayek's beard, personally.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm pretty sure the Greeks also worshipped Iris. Isis.
Yeah.
Isis.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Layla, you need
I was
to
like,
wake
Iris
the
is
Cyclops
indigenous to
Foreign.
Greece, but yes,
Layla,
they also...
wakey,
There are a
wakey.
number of places associated with Isis, including the site I worked at, Kincray.
Yeah,
Don't make me come down there.
I mean, there's a temple to Isis in Dion, which is right below Mount
Layla?
Olympus. So.
Layla, come on back. Layla, are you with me? Habibti.
Told you not to call me that.
Thing is, the fastest way to get your attention is to piss you off.
I'm
Language?
paying attention.
Okay, you need to take a break. The Animus is rejecting you.
I'm fine.
Yes, but your kidneys aren't. Go add more cyclosporin before they shut down.
Yes, Nurse Geary.
That's Medical Officer Geary to you. So? How did it go?
My mods are holding. Subject's memories are perfectly clear. If this doesn't convince Abstergo to give me a place on the Animus Project, nothing will.
Amazing! Who do you have in there?
His name is Bayek of Siwa. The death of his son turned him into a killer.
Think you'd be of interest to Abstergo?
Don't start.
You know, they're not going to be happy with how he handled this assignment.
They know I don't work by the book.
Well, this time you lit the book on fire and then stomped on it. Anyway, none of this will matter if you're comatose. Now go get that cyclosporin.
To the part of the game that nobody cares about. To be fair, I do like
Got the
that
cyclosporin.
2 cc should do it.
Layla is
Don't forget the alcohol wipe.
more of a minority than most of these games have had. So.
I wish I was there to help.
You do a good job looking after me, even from the hotel. And I know how you like your aircon.
Might as well look at the computer while we're here. Oh my. The Historical Research Division.
Oh, yes.
Oh my.
A lot of things going on there.
Field guide. That's not much of a field guide.
And maybe it's a copyright and you can just see the cover.
Yeah, I see. We know how the Animus works, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at this point in the series.
Yeah, it's true.
Field briefing. Okay. Artifact recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fine. Sounds not sketchy. Katara depression. That's all fine, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
The
Sounds
man is very
interesting.
stubborn.
Yes. It's also interesting that just in terms of the Layla's like whole aesthetic, she kind of harkens back to like Indiana Jones a bit.
She does. Very much so. I mean, I think she's supposed to be an archaeologist. From what I read on her, like, on the wiki. Because I didn't feel like reading all of this. So she's basically found a way to look at people who don't share DNA with her.
Mm-hmm.
Found the mother lode.
Turns out the artifact of high interest is also
feel
a person
like
of interest.
She may have some, quote,
And a golden
archaeological
opportunity. I've
skills,
informed Dia of
but
changes I'm making to our assignment parameters. She acted mad,
I don't think it
but I know
actually
she's
says
eager
she
to see
is
my
an
animus field
archaeologist on
tested.
here.
Abstergo won't mind. Well, they would if they found out, but they won't.
Well, she's not a good one.
No, and regardless of what she calls herself, she's
They
not
have
good
no idea what's going on with this extraction. Field tech is fun and all, but that's not why I left Berkeley. If the animus lets me ride DNA this old, if the reader can model the missing codons and extrapolate the genetic memories that aren't mine, Sophia would lose her Abstergo. Abstergo will come to me on their hands and knees. My name will be right up there with Warren Vidick's. Ana Metakida Minda. Too bad the Madrid facility got blown up. But I bet they'll build a new one soon. This one will be in Philly, and its lead engineer will be Leila Hassan.
That's nice. What is... Anyway. I'm sure it's fine.
Totally fine.
Alright. Back to the fun part of the game.
Going back in. This is so badass.
Be careful.
But yeah, she definitely looks like an Indiana Jones. But like more modestly dressed. Which is an improvement. So
It's funny to be people like Indiana Jones were modestly dressed. It's like, yes, Indy has a penchant for always wearing his shirt open.
yeah, if you look at the first movie poster for the very first Raiders of the Lost Ark, his shirt is like definitely mostly open.
I mean, it's
And
Layla's clothes, even though she may be a bad archaeologist, are far more practical.
much more practical. I mean, Indy is a bad archaeologist.
This is true. Also, having his shirt open recalls, what is it? Like 1920s something? I'll check the dates. Alfred Kidder's maxim of there are two kinds of archaeologists, the hairy-chested and the hairy-chinned.
Except Harrison Ford isn't that hairy-chested.
Yeah, so Kidder, Alfred Kidder, the American archaeologist, did a lot of southwestern stuff, but was born in 1885 and died in 1963. So, yes, at some point in like the 20s, 30s, or whatever, he is said to have equipped the two types of archaeologists, are the hairy-chested and the hairy-chinned, which of course leaves out women entirely. So,
I
thanks,
must
dude.
protect this great land. Alexandria is where the snake thrives, and Aya lives. I must find them both.
I am not,
The trial of Anubis.
I
Yeah,
am
you're
not of level to
No.
do such a thing.
No.
Yamu,
I had fun with it
home to my old
once we
friend
were
Menelaus.
high enough level to do it.
He will be in the temple. He
Also-
always is.
Excuse me, game. I wanted my horse.
There he is. Thanks.
Sorry.
We'll just park. Yeah, I guess we'll just park our camel there, you know.
Don't mind me, soldiers. Nothing to see here.
Nothing yet.
Watch out! Coming through! Oh! Do it! Whoa. Whoa.
If you don't want to get run over.
Get out of the way.
Whoa.
And even though you could ride your horse, I'm sure, inside some of these temples, even in antiquity, I'm not sure it's the best idea.
I'm sure it's
Separation. Separation of the sacred and all that.
Bayek, what good fortune! I thought it would be years before we saw you again.
Hail in peace, Menahet. How is your family?
The children seem to grow larger by the minute. My wife and I have our hands full. And you? Is there any news of...
None.
I forget myself. There are so many things in your life best not spoken of. Forgive me.
I see by your garb that you have been promoted.
Ah, yes. The High Priest, in his grace, made me his second. And my rank is not the only thing he has changed. You must see the temple.
You will give me a tour?
Of course, of course. At the moment of your pleasure.
Welcome to Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed, Ancient Egypt.
Alright. We're here to talk about some Greek pharaohs. So,
Woohoo!
let's go.
Welcome to the Greek Pharaohs.
You're not the same narrator.
Oh my.
I'm pretty sure this is the tomb of Alexander, and we have things to say about it.
We have many a thing to say about it.
But we'll say some. We'll save those for the actual playthrough.
Pharaohs were considered divine incarnations of the gods. As an avatar of the gods living on Earth, the pharaoh's role was to preserve fundamental values and universal harmony by removing chaos, Izfet, and ensure that justice, Mot, prevailed. The pharaoh, by divine ancestry and through multiple offerings, was the bond that unites the world of men to the world of the gods and allows the maintenance of the cosmic order.
That's true as far as I know.
The Ptolemaic dynasty reigned over Egypt from 305 BCE to 30 BCE. The dynasty was called the Ptolemies of the Lagids, in recognition of the founder of the dynasty, Ptolemy Lagos, a Greek general and close friend of Alexander the Great. While Macedonian, Ptolemy Lagos understood that to be accepted by the Egyptian people, he would have to adopt their traditions. Upon assuming the title of pharaoh, he changed his name to Ptolemy I Soter, meaning savior.
The heads on the display there, interesting for a number of reasons.
Well, notice they all look like Alexander.
Yes, I mean that the artistic influence certainly for the Alexander type appearance, but also that it's just
Born
heads.
in 356
Yeah.
BC,
Like if you're gonna loot
Alexander
a
the
statue,
Great
that's
went
usually the
through a
first thing you
hasty
take.
education in the affairs of the kingdom before integrating into the Macedonian army, where he quickly rose through the ranks. After his father's assassination in 336 BCE, which some believed was orchestrated by Alexander himself, he became king of Macedonia. Ruler of a unified kingdom and leader of a large army, Alexander set his sights on conquest. Eager to reclaim the Greek cities of Asia Minor, he took on the Persian forces, earning victory after victory.
Yeah, so I personally don't think Alexander did it himself. But I wouldn't be
The
surprised.
assassination of Philip.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if his mother did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever victorious, Alexander the Great marched on, laying siege to city after city until he reached Egypt, where the Persians were defeated yet again. Viewed as a liberator by the Egyptian people, Alexander decided to become pharaoh in due form. He traveled to Thebes to make a sacrifice to Apis, then went to the oasis of Siwa, where he was proclaimed son of Amun. Officially
Zeus.
pharaoh of Egypt, Alexander spent much of the winter there and founded the city of Alexandria. Perhaps not coincidentally, being pharaoh allowed Alexander to spread propaganda to prepare further conquests. He resumed his military campaigns in 331 BCE.
Yeah, at the time it actually wasn't kosher for a Greek leader of a city-state to declare themselves a demigod. But being pharaoh sort of allowed him to do that without angering all of his citizens.
Yeah.
And by citizens I mean military soldiers. But at least that's who would have been most influential over
On his
him.
deathbed in 323 BCE, Alexander the Great gifted the satrapy of Egypt to Ptolemy Lagos. Perfectly aware of the value of Egypt, Ptolemy ensured not only the stability of the country's borders, but also its economic and military development. At the same time, he worked with the Egyptian elite to maintain the internal order of the country. By 305 BCE, Ptolemy, well respected both in Egypt and in the Mediterranean, was at the head of the largest fleet of the Hellenistic world. Ptolemy officially took the title of Pharaoh of Egypt in January 304 BCE, on the anniversary of Alexander the Great's death.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where they get that information because the only thing Alexander said about inheritance on his deathbed was to the strongest.
Yeah.
And he meant the whole empire. He didn't break it into four pieces. His generals did after they started fighting for it.
Mm-hmm.
But Ptolemy did end up with Egypt.
Alexander died in Babylon in 323 BCE. His remains were placed first in a solid gold sarcophagus, and then within another. The casket was carried in an ornate custom wagon, gilded and set with precious stones, and pulled by 64 mules crowned with gold. The funeral procession was diverted to a grandiose temple in Alexandria, built in the conqueror's honor under the orders of Ptolemy I.
Yeah, he, as far as we know, did want to be buried in Egypt. He really liked Egypt. But his family was going to take him home to Macedonia to be buried with his other family members. But Ptolemy was like, nope!
We're sticking him here.
And basically kidnapped the funeral procession and took it to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Caesar visited Alexander's tomb at the capture of Alexandria, and the Roman Emperor Augustus reportedly placed flowers there. However, though many powerful leaders claim to have visited it, the tomb's location has gone missing from history. Some accounts do state that the golden coffin was replaced by a glass sarcophagus, probably by Ptolemy X. It is also implied that Cleopatra may have plundered the tomb in a time of financial crisis.
It is interesting that we have no idea where it ended up, but Alexandria did get burnt down a couple times, so it was probably destroyed in a fire.
Probably.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll talk more about Alexander when we actually get to the part of the game where we come down here. And in general, whenever it crops up, but, oh look, Greek. I would be interested to know, like, where they heard that Alexander gave Ptolemy the satrapy, because there weren't satrapies at the time of his death.
No.
And he didn't have an heir. His wife was pregnant, but she hadn't given birth yet. And the only other person who would have been an heir died, a few months before he did? Maybe a little bit before that. So,
yeah.
Because he did have, like, a best friend / brother / possible lover.
Hephaestion.
Who I think the kingdom would have gone to had he survived, but he died just before Alexander. So, yeah. And then Alexander died with no heir, basically. So, there you go. We'll see you on the other side.
Ready to see our beautiful temple?
Oh, yes.
After you, Menehet. Or is it servant of the goddess?
Menehet will do, for one as good as family.
This is far from the sorry ruin of my last visit.
Yamu now plays constant host to ceremonies showing our rustic way of life, which attract many visitors with more gold than sense.
A description well
familiar.
suited to Alexandrians. How does this sit with your faith?
I confess that my thoughts are sometimes uneasy.
Vanquished by a gang of ruffians, huh? Silent as gifts.
Uncle Bayek! Uncle Bayek! Hello, Uncle.
Can you imagine if they'd, like, push him directly in?
Why have you left your mother's side?
Pick me up, Uncle Bayek!
Sit down. There's no need to attack a
These
man
are a
from
lot of
behind
children
when
that
I'm
all
not
look the
bringing
same
food to
age.
one.
You told
Yeah.
us to secure every advantage possible over attaining.
I'm not entirely sure about this period in Egypt, but child mortality rather, before the age of 15 for classical Greece was estimated at 43%.
Yeah, but
So-
he's a priest, so they probably have more.
Resource acquisition.
Yeah.
I guess it also doesn't exclusively say that he had all of his kids with the same woman. I don't entirely know
He
if
sort of implies that, though.
he does. I don't know if Egyptian priests in this period were expected to be monogamous, but we assume so, based on what he was implying.
Asina, you must come down from here.
This would be a good place to watch the stars.
Only the priests are permitted here. You know that.
Yes, but I want to see.
Hush. Come down now. We can watch stars from the riverbank.
Such a dad.
Such a dad, indeed.
Go on.
Beast, you will.
Soris, stay back!
No, no, I hate it.
I killed the thing. Come.
It seems that our glitchiness is going to transfer over from Fallen Order into this.
Alright, that's fine, I guess.
Why do you think they had a caged hyena just hanging out in the first place?
That's a good point.
I mean, if it had been like a Roman camp and they were going to use it in the Monationes or beast fights in the arena, then I could get that, but I don't entirely know what it would be doing here. Pigeon. As you may have noticed at this point, cryptids, we have quite an affinity for the delightfully weirdly rendered pigeons in this game.
What are you doing down there?
Indeed.
I wanted to hide, but now I can't get back out. I'm
Better question, how did this kid
Stay
get down
calm.
here?
I will help you out.
Why?
This way. Through the tunnel.
Thank you, Uncle Bayek.
Go straight home to your mother. She will be worried.
You're the one that wanted to play hide and seek.
Kids, you know.
Suhai! You found me. Your turn to hide.
That's the
It's
last
funny, I
of the
think I had
children.
better success playing hide and seek with your cat.
Look at this. Fraud abounds in your market. And you claim you can do nothing?
The dealings of the market are beyond me. Speak rather to the offending merchant.
This character is
you have
busy.
proven as false as your mummies.
Man ahead. Your brood is delivered safely home.
Thank you, friend.
What did that fool want with you?
Some visitors, having purchased religious objects, are angry when our village has no more dead cats to sell them. Though not a merchant, I am often the means by which the aggrieved snuff their anger.
This matter needs a firm hand.
In other words, me.
Oh dear. Yeah, apparently you've been blamed for some things at work over which you have no control. Just an arm. You know. It's definitely from like a statue context, I would hope, because that's too big to be human.
But I don't like it.
Well, you know what we say in archaeology, Lith, rest in peace or rest in pieces.
Aw, man. Bayek, only priests are allowed up here.
Bayek, I don't care. I mean, technically, he does have a quasi-religious function as a Magi, so he can come up here.
Last I checked, though. You gave up your Magi powers when you went on a murder spree.
He does kind of get them back, though, later. Because I know he gets a different Magi badge from other characters we encounter later.
Yes, but...
But as crucially, the murder spree thing, you know? That alone would disqualify Bayek from being entered into the Eleusinian Mysteries and Crews. Couldn't have murdered anybody. Is one of the qualifications.
Alright, what are we gonna do?
Ulterior motive.
Yeah, I'm not quite level 10, so we need to do some things.
Props to Ubisoft for the puns in the name here. Ulterior motive is amazing.
This looks like a
These
joke.
cat mummies are false.
Help me. No one has seen my
And I feel like, if I remember this one correctly, much like us going to some other things and being like, fake!
Why, there's nothing but straw in here.
Greetings. I am...
You have come to the right place, Ned. We have everything you could possibly want.
What I want is to ask about false idols sold at the market.
I have heard rumors of such, but there is nothing to them. Now leave if you want to avoid trouble.
I'm
These
Bayek.
cat mummies are
Trouble
false.
is my name.
Tell me of the fake mummies being sold here.
I have no desire to be dragged into this.
Menehet sent me. Your silence is an insult to his holy office.
Yeah, I wish to anger neither him nor the gods. We are forced to sell items of lesser quality, or see our stalls destroyed.
Who is behind this?
I can say no more now. Let us meet tonight, where the village turns to farmland.
That's not sketchy.
A bit more to our own time, and we're, streaming this as opposed to the historical context of the game. The 19th and 20th centuries have rightly been dubbed as like the great eras of faking nowadays. But apparently, faking even happened in antiquity. In fact, that is the root of our word sincerely. Have you heard that stuff before, Lith? Do you remember your Latin root words?
Cat.
Kitty!
What? I'm sorry. I was too focused on the cat.
That's fair. No, I was gonna ask, do you remember your Latin root words and where we get sincerely from?
Is it like Senseo or something like that?
So it's a context of making artistic pieces, usually out of marble. If you had imperfections or sort of lesser stone of lesser quality, you could cover up some of the cracks and imperfections with wax. And a statue that was sincere was literally one then without wax that was, pure marble and wasn't sort of faked or of lesser quality. That's actually where we get our word sincerely, meaning without wax, but meaning I'm selling you, genuinely wishing you something in the modern context.
Come, sit with me and share a drink
But
of
yeah,
wine.
faking artifacts.
I do not have time
Sounds
for
fun.
that.
It is a beautiful night. Let us enjoy the
You're
coolness of the
stalling.
air for a moment before turning to
Indeed he
business.
is.
Merchant, I'm not here to take in
I gotta
the
say,
air.
this moment in the soundtrack
behind
is
the
lovely,
chapter
but
of
this
icons?
guy's 1000% stalling.
You see, it is no simple story. There are many involved.
Indeed, it's not.
But they would all tell you the same thing. Pity the trusting man, for he suffers great pain. Seek evil, and you will always find it. I cannot wait to see what your guts look like.
I have a poison sword.
Indeed.
I didn't mean to do that, but it was
A
funny.
man who fights as well as you can perhaps afford to be trusting.
Talk,
Indeed.
or you will meet the same fate as your friends.
That will not be necessary. Among the dunes, southeast of here, is the bandit camp where the fake mummies are made. I suppose you would go and destroy it now.
Better I smash the camp than your head.
Do you have anything valuable for me?
Destroying these forgeries will earn the favor of the gods. As Ra lives, what a disgrace.
Thing.
Indeed, Bayek, what a disgrace. In terms of making, in terms of making fakes and stuff, what were some of the motives we've read about in our classes and textbooks? One of them was monetary.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's often monetary. But others was like recognition. Because a lot of times, especially academics, want to find something special.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, monetary motives, tax evasion, actually. Some other things can get lumped into that too. But recognition, nationalism, like inflating the status of certain people's things and not of others. And some of it can just be like the acquisitiveness, meaning the need for acquiring things. I actually know not personally, but I should say I know of a collector who traded a 30-foot sailing yacht for some 19th century fakes, but he was led to believe that said fakes were the genuine artifact. I took one look at them and was like, no. But didn't tell him that because I wasn't entirely sure of how to go about that in that moment. Reflecting back on that incident, though, like the people he was presenting these items to were genuinely excited to at least talk about them, which that's kind of the purpose of having an artifact show and tell, is to get people excited about the past, even if they're not necessarily the real thing.
What? I'll kill you.
Does that make sense?
Oh no, your friend's dead. You don't care.
Uh-oh. Your internet connection is unstable. I just got a pop-up message.
Is it yours or mine?
No, it's yours. Mine's fine.
That's nice.
Always nice when the technology doesn't want to cooperate, you know?
Fang, where are you going? Oh. Okay.
Just having a time.
Oh, my bad.
Damn you!
Uh-oh.
Menehet will rest easy now that this is done.
I guess I could fast travel there, but I like riding my horse across the desert.
It's very scenic.
Yeah, internet issues are a fun time.
We were even having some on campus here the other day. It was various things refusing to connect when they should. And we're like, dang it. I needed that as part of that lecture.
That's usually how it goes, isn't it?
Naturally.
This might end up being a bit of a shorter episode just because I think this will probably be a good stopping place. And then I can do some leveling up off camera, so.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Oh, oh no. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Where are you? This way, I guess.
Ah, here you are.
I have dealt with the trafficking of false mummies.
Thank you.
How can I ease the burdens of an old friend?
Tonight, we will stage a grand spectacle. Our goddess Sekhmet defends the people against Isfet's chaos.
I remember this one.
Our
This one was
champion
fun.
is nowhere to be found. The High Priest will judge me responsible for his absence.
I'll have a look.
Some cool,
Sekhmet
cool
bless you.
rewards.
His home is near the market, but check the tavern first. It pains me to ask you for a further favor. Pamu does like a drink now and again.
Fantastic.
Indeed.
Alright, well, we're gonna call it here. We did have a little bit longer of a discovery tour, so it might balance out. So, we will see you guys next week, as Bayek should hopefully be a little bit better, a little bit brighter, a little bit higher levels. And enjoy the horror pigeon.